Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning. What is going on, guys? Good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you guys have an absolutely outstanding morning thus far and an even better day for the rest of the day, guys. So listen, I wanted to hop on here and share a little bit with you guys today about kind of the fundamentals for growing a team, growing a large team. But before I do that, I want to go just over just a little bit of some house cleaning stuff, if you will. So first things first, we do this every single Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern time. And what we do is we use Zoom, okay? We use Zoom, and then we upload it to our YouTube channel. So we use Zoom, so it's live 11 o'clock Eastern time. And our Zoom ID for this is 310-725-5494. 310-725-5494. And then we upload it to our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is CJ, the initial CJ Miller, and Tatiana Davis, CJ Miller and Tatiana Davis. So put this on here. So those are the two things, CJ Miller and Tatiana Davis on YouTube every Tuesday, 11 o'clock Eastern, live on Zoom. And I gave you the Zoom ID, 310-725-5494. And then we upload it to YouTube. So in case you can't get on live, you can check it there on our YouTube channel. So when you get to the YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And then you ring the notification bell off to the right. Make sure you click all for all notifications, okay, so that you know when that video is actually uploaded to the channel. Okay, so this is going to be a video series, guys, and it's Network Marketing Fundamentals. Okay, how to grow your team. Network Marketing Fundamentals, how to grow your team. And it's going to be 5 videos. So the network marketing fundamentals, if you will, to growing a team have never changed, will never change. The fundamentals are the fundamentals, as my mentor used to say to me years and years ago, right? So, and it consists of 5 things, really. So it is your why and 4 action steps. Your why and 4 action steps. And the action steps are: make a list, contact and invite from that list, okay? Share the product and opportunity, share the product, share the opportunity, and share your why. Share why you're doing the opportunity, okay? Very, very important. A lot of times that's missed in this whole fundamentals with network marketing. And then the other thing is follow up, right? We like to say follow through. So your why and 4 action steps. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video series on each one. I'm going to start with making a list, but I am all in each of the 4 action steps. I'm going to talk about the why first, and then the last video will be on the why. So, a lot of times, if we're not careful in growing our team, we can lose sight of why we're doing it. Why are we doing network marketing? Why are we looking to build a team? What is the lifestyle that we're looking to get from doing the business, right? And that's really, really important. My mentor used to use a phrase with us all the time, and that was, if money and time was no longer an object for you, what would you do tomorrow that you could not do today? If money and time were no longer an object for you, what would you do tomorrow that you could not do today? And, we like to say all the time, look, dream no small dreams, for they have not the power to move the hearts of men, right? And so it's so very, very important to get here that you can have anything that you want from growing your business here. You can have anything that you want. You just have to know what it is that you want, and then we'll be willing to put the work behind it. So I would ask you that. If money and time were no longer an object for you, what would you do tomorrow that you couldn't do today? Where would you go? How long would you stay? How would you get to where you want to go? That's a great question. Tatiana and I ask that question all the time, because we love to travel. We like doing business class. We like doing first class and business class. We love doing that. And, so for us, it's not just a destination, it's how we get there as well. So I would ask you that. It's funny because sometimes people think that the big houses and the big cars is materialistic. Let me tell you what my mentor said to me when I was 19 years old. And you may or may not agree with this. He said, if you're not materialistic, you would be homeless and naked. I remember when he said that. This is in the 80s, okay? Probably can't say those things today. It's probably not politically correct to say it today. But it's an interesting point, right? People want to kind of paint you and put you in this corner, right? Because you want more things out of life. And they miss the fundamental basic, and that is, it's really, really hard to get what you want from life if you're not helping other people get what they want from life. It's really, really difficult. Yeah. I mean, are some people, born into wealth? Yeah. Inherit wealth? Yeah. But that's not 99% of the people. Most people, in order to get the bigger homes and bigger cars, they have to add value, as Jim Rohn would say, to the marketplace. They have to bring value to the marketplace. In other words, help other people, serve other people. So in the journey to obtaining a 6,000 square foot house, or a 911 Porsche Targa, right? Or the Cayman S, or a Rolls Royce Wraith, for example, right? Or a Challenger 350 LXI private jet. You have to bring value to the marketplace. You have to serve others. So think about that. Your why. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you want? And make sure that you resolve in your heart of hearts that you're willing to bring value to the marketplace, that you're willing to serve others to get there, right? That's the most important thing. So that's just a little bit of why. But what we're really going to cover today is making a list, one of the fundamentals. And I'm convinced that if we will resolve to get better at doing this and helping other people make a list, it can be the game changer. Your list is your marketplace, right? Your list, when you're sitting down with a new person, the more names, the better. One of the greatest skill sets you can develop is helping someone move their list of 10 names to a list of 100 names. I promise you, you get good at doing that, and it's a game changer. It is completely a game changer. Our business partner and mentor here in our network marketing company, it was genius at getting people to get their list from 10 to 100. And he was also genius in being able to work with that person and work through that list with that person. But it doesn't start until you can get them to make a list. And then you got to get them to get, because most people's lists are going to be small, right? And you got to help them get from 10 names on that list to 100 names on that list. You do that. I promise you develop that skill, right? You're a good friend of mine, Bo Short, used to say to me, you don't have to have all the skill set, but if you get one, just get one or two skill sets and master those, and you'll be good. And I guarantee you, one of them you might want to consider mastering is making that list and helping people make that list, right? So here's the deal about making a list. And I took some notes. I get some thoughts. I put them down on paper type deal. So I'm going to share a little bit of some of my thoughts. So the biggest challenge when someone joins the businesses, and especially in network marketing, is they want to start trying to get to know every single thing about the business, right? They want to know the products. They want to know the manuals. They want to know the rules and regulations. What are the bylaws of the company, right? They want to know all the ingredients in the products, all these different things before they actually get started, right? But instead, what they want to do is start with that list, and you want to help them. That's the purpose of you being a sponsor. You want to kind of get them to kind of get off that train of wanting to know everything before they get started, right? And get them in action, right? Like our business partner, Jeff Olson, says, you want to get them from learn knowledge to activity knowledge as soon as possible, right? Activity knowledge, in other words, learning by doing. So make a list of people in town and out of town. That's one thing we're going to talk about, right? And so this is kind of some fundamental principles. Don't be the one who wants to keep the list in your head, right? Don't be, as we say today, don't be that guy. You don't want to be the one who's trying to keep the list in your head. You don't want to do that, right? So, and here's the thing, you got to write the names down. It's so important. And there's a psychology behind literally writing something down, even if it's just names. Writing it down is it's something about triggering it in your brain, and synchronization between writing it down and in your mind. That's why we write down our goals and we write down our dreams. Writing it down for some reason is very, 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 very powerful. And right, and in today's world of having everything on the cell phones, I get it. I get it. But you still want to write them down. You still want to write them down. So how many of y'all, it's so funny, how many of y'all have ever forgotten something? It's pretty funny, right? We all have forgotten something, right? So how many people forget to remember not to forget something, right? Right? You ever done that? Ever done? I'm gonna make sure I don't forget to do this thing. And then you completely forget to do that thing. So you want to be able to write it down. So the other thing as well is, besides writing it down, right? You want to have a place a place where you keep the names, right? The old, sticky notes for names list and business cards. Yeah, that can be tricky, right? Because you can lose those things. So you want to have a permanent record for your names. Now, it sounds simple enough, but I promise you, not everyone does it. You would be blown away by the people who have a pile of lists of names here. They have a pile of lists of names there. They got them in different places in their homes, right? You don't want that. You want a permanent record, permanent place where you record all of your names and permanently, right? So the other thing is, you want to have something that you carry with you all the time. So let me recap that, right? So you want to write them down. Very, very important. Not keep them in your brain. Write them down, right? And then you want to have a permanent place of record for your names. So 3 things. Don't try to keep it in your head. Write them down, and then a permanent record, right? Permanent record. Now, it's cool if you have a book and now you have 2 books because your names list is grown. In fact, that's pretty powerful if you're able to do that. But have a permanent record so that you have your names with you all the time. And so here's your other thing. You got to carry the record with you. You have to have it. Like this just for me, right? This is my permanent record, right? And you carry it with you all the time. You want to be able to have it all the time. So here's the thing, right? So how many of you have kind of been, you get to an event, perhaps it's a regional, maybe it's a conference, a convention, and you're pumped up. You're excited now. Maybe after the first day, after the first session of the first day, you're excited. You're pumped up. Maybe perhaps even you walked across the stage recognition, right? You're excited and pumped, and you want to be able to call some people in that kind of moment, in the moment, right? But if you got your list and it's at home, it's not going to work for you, right? And a lot of people do that, right? Their list is exactly where they left it, on their desk in their home, right? So you got to have your record, your permanent record of your list and your names with you at all times. And I know this sounds very elementary, but I promise you is not, right? So that's one of the keys, is always having it with you. And this is power with carrying it with you all the time. It's a constant reminder that you have a list, you have a huge marketplace that you can tap into at any time. And one of the best times I always tell people is to call people is right after an event, like after a regional, especially right after a region. You got some great information. Hopefully you got some great, not only motivation, but you have some great inspiration. And you want to have that list available with you, right? Not at home on your desk, right? So here's the other thing about the list. And this is something that is very, very challenging. Most people do it, but we have to teach people not to do it. And that is, don't prejudge the people that you're going to talk to. Because we have this thing that we want to think about who's going to do it, not do it. So don't prejudge people. We have a tendency, and I don't know if it's a natural thing or not, but we mentally prejudge people, right? We mentally prejudge them, right? And that's why most of the times the list is only 10, 15, maybe 20 people, right? So the only question that you want to ask, really, it's not who's going to do it, who's going to do it, who would be interested, who would not be interested. They don't want, who would want the product, that's not the question. The question that you want to ask yourself is, would you be willing to work with them? Would you be willing to work with them? That's really the only question you need to ask yourself. And you can say, yeah, I'd be willing to help them. Would I be willing to help them grow their business? That's the question. Would I be willing to help them grow their business? That's the only question you ask. And if it's yes, put them down, put them down, put them down. Would I be willing to help them? Would I be willing to help him grow their business? Would I be willing to help her grow her business? That's the question that you want to ask. And so those are the kind of fundamentals of a list, right? And now we're going to talk a little bit somewhat about the mindset behind the list and getting people started. And this is really, really important, because if you have the right mindset and attitude going in to someone's home or meeting them at Starbucks to start their list, if you have this mindset, it'll work better for you. So here's the question you want to ask yourself, right? It's very, very important. You want to teach your teammates this as well. Who's going to benefit the most from you sponsoring Joe? Who's going to benefit the most from you sponsoring Mary? You just brought Mary in. Who's going to benefit the most in the beginning? It's a question you have to ask yourself, and you have to resolve in your mind the right answer, right? So you're going to invest money, time, and resources into helping Joe build his business, right? Money, time, and resources. You're going to benefit. You're going to dedicate your time, your money, and resources, right? Invest in Joe, right? Right. So that's the key. So a lot of times the challenge is when we get someone started is that when we recruit Joe, we think, oh my God, this is an amazing, awesome deal for me, for us. The reality is, by you sponsoring Joe, this is an awesome, amazing, wonderful deal for Joe. For Joe. Why? Because you are going to invest your money and your time and your resources in helping Joe build his business, right? So that's the thing that's so important to get, is that mentality that you're going to be the one investing time and resources into Joe. So this is a wonderful, amazing, the idea that you recruited him and were sponsoring him is a wonderful, great thing for Joe. And again, walking in with that mindset and that attitude and that posture, if you will, is beneficial to both you and to Joe. That's how you get Joe's name from 10 to 100, by realizing that and moving forward, if you will, in the fundamentals of building a business with that particular mindset. So, and the way that you can do that is you got to realize what you have in your hands. You have this amazing opportunity to provide a lifestyle, an amazing lifestyle for Joe and his family. You have it, and you're the key to help. You're the bridge to helping him get the things that he wants to do, right? So the key is realizing what it is that you have and knowing that when you walk in, again, to do that names list, right? So most people, when they make a list, they misjudge. And this is a funny thing, how well their friends are doing, right? It's really, really amazing, right? And so what a lot of times people do is they kind of take someone's lifestyle and they multiply it by 2, right? Especially if they're doing well. If they have a friend or something that's doing well or in a prominent position, quote unquote, doctor, lawyer, dentist, whatever, they misjudge their income and they want to multiply it by 2. The reality is you probably should be dividing that by 2. That's the reality, because the numbers and the stats and the statistics of the money that people are not making are factual. Are not making, right? Especially when you consider the cost of inflation or the hidden tax that is inflation. So don't do that. Don't multiply their income or lifestyle by 2. Understand you're going to be dividing it by 2. That's the reality of the situation. It really is. And so this will help you to not misjudge people and to put every single person on the list, to not misjudge them based upon the lifestyle, the outside appearance of things. Okay. So in other words, people think that they're doing better than what they actually are doing. So that's very, very important. It's help, and it's you want to know that. So when you're sitting down with Joe to make that list, you understand that. Right? And so again, one of the greatest skill sets you can learn is getting Joe to get from his name list from 10 to 100. So how many of you in the beginning thought that you were really good at figuring out, right, who's going to do it and who's not going to do the business? How many of you thought in the beginning that you were good at doing that, right? So in the beginning, we try to sit and kind of pick the ones, right, that are going to do it, right? My mentor told me this before. It's hilarious. He said, that is what we call a picker, CJ. Now, if you could really pick the ones that are going to do it, right? If you could really pick the ones that are going to do it, you would be a valuable person, right, in this business, right? Could you imagine that? If you were a good picker, then, well, then, you know, what I would like to do is I would like hire you, right? Right. To pick them, right? Right. We could get together, right? We could just go out somewhere, go out to the mall. Seriously, go out to the mall and we could just watch people go by and you could just pick them. Could you imagine how valuable the money that you made if you were a picker, right? You could make more money as a picker, right? So funny. I'm joking around with you guys. I'm having fun with you guys, right? So how many of you would hire a good picker, right? If you could, right? Someone who could get out there and kind of do that thing, right? So it's a funny thing. And I was joking with you guys. So what we want to do essentially, you want to have that conversation with Joe, just like I had it with you, about being a picker, good picker, and hiring and all. You want to have that same conversation because you want to get them to understand that we want to let people pick themselves, right? Because no one knows. We're always saying in the business, you know, the people that you think would do it end up not doing it, and the people that you thought there was zero chance of them doing it end up doing it, right? So we always want to have fun with that. So we have to let people pick themselves. Everybody has a group or a sphere of influence that they look up to, right? So that's one of the big time lists, right? Those people that you kind of look up to, and you want to get Joe, if you will, to put those people's names down on paper, not prejudging, misjudging, getting them to put them down on paper. People that you kind of look up to, people that he kind of looks up to. Okay, so and then there's the other group, right, where you kind of feel as though, you know, maybe you're a sphere of influence for them, right? And so mentally, you have this kind of mental jurisdiction over them, right? They kind of look to you in a certain kind of way, right? And you want to get those people down on paper as well. And so those are the list, and I will add to it in town and out of town. So it's people that you look up to, people that you kind of feel are equal to you, and they kind of look up to you, right? In town and out of town as well. That is your list. And you make sure you can use things like memory joggers to add to the list, but those kind of the foundational things. An in-town list, out of town list, people that you look up to, people that look up to you, right? And so what my mentor used to say to me all the time is, you need to sponsor the needy, not the greedy. This is one of the biggest challenges in network marketing. It goes on to this day. Now, you know, you probably wouldn't say that today, right? He said this to me in the 80s, right? But you want to sponsor the greedy and not the needy. And what he meant by that is you want to you want to sponsor and recruit people who want to do more. We always call it, you know, look to people with a level of ambition that's high, equal to or higher than yours, right? So he used to use the phrase, you want to sponsor the greedy and not the needy. Lloyd was tripped. So that is in essence most the training for the list. But I do want to end with something that I think is really important, you know, and this is a very, very true story. And sometimes people will tell you this, and sometimes they just keep it in the back of their brain. It's their makeup, that's how they're made up. And it is this. It's a quote. Well, I want to help the people who need help, right? So I want to help the people that need help. That's kind of going on in the back of the brain. That's why you hear people and they start telling you about a prospect, and you could tell that it's a prospect that is needing something and not necessarily wanting something with a certain level of ambition. And this is what he said. It's very true, very, very, very true. He said, well, why don't you make some money first, and then you can help those people better, right? And if you want to make some money first, you got to get really, really good at increasing your list of names from 10 to 100. Take some of the information that I left with you, that I shared with you today, and increase the size of your list. Take this information and sit down with someone that you probably sponsored a month or two ago. Reevaluate their list with them together. Together, grow their list from 10 names to 100 names, from 50 names to 200 names, right? Do that, acquire that skill set, master the skill set of making a names list. And I promise you, it will be a game changer for you and for your business. All right, guys, listen, thank you so much for letting me hang out with you today. It's been a great hang. And I will talk to you guys soon. See ya. Bye.